In my last video, I made a tour of this epic aquarium shrimp store, and today we continue chatting with the master breeder to find out the key to his success. I spent 2 days in his lovely shop filming his tanks and chatting about shrimp. Someone asked me what did I get from this trip, and I tell you what, I've got some knowledge and hell lots of it. Darick helped me to open my eyes to many things. The way he keeps his shrimp is so simple and everything makes so much sense. So if you want to master shrimp breeding like a pro, then this video is for you. Let's get started.
Welcome to Shrimp's Affair. Majority of my breeding tanks are all 2 feet, which is 60 liter. A 60 liter tank with 1 UGF can house up to a maximum of 900 to 1000 pieces.
Oh really?
Before your tank starts to get crowded.
So you think it's not affect the shrimp breeding? I heard that if you put only like 20 shrimp in the tank, they breed a lot. But once they breed to about like 100, 200, they slow down.
So you must also understand that by the time they breed to 100, your tank is already 1 year old. And it's time to reset. Why we say that a setup is always 1 year to 1.5 years? Because if you don't do that, your breeding will go down. And that is because why you have not done a major water change for a long time. Because when your bioload increase, your ecosystem slowly may catch up with it, but it may not if your shrimps are breeding too well. But when it's doing well, your bioload is increasing, your nitrate will start shooting. And if you are not doing enough water change, or if you are still doing that 10-20%, it may not be enough to remove the nitrate. And that is when your death will start coming. And that is when your tank will start crashing. Maintain enough bioload. The thing, when we look at it, so long the tank is crystal clear and they are breathing well, let it be. If your tank is cloudy and you can see it's overloading, it's time to remove some.
But with your method, with UGF box, which you have in your tanks, how you do reset your tanks? You just change your box?
Let's go take a look here. The easier way, get a Toyogo box or get a container, cycle the UGF box inside.
So you cycle your UGF box?
Yep. So depending on what brand aqua soil you are using, so you got to cycle the full period inside the box. Box is cycled with RO water. And no need to remineralize, just put your bacterial powder or any other things that you use for the ecosystem a little bit inside. Once you are done, go over there. Normally when I do it...
So you don't remove your shrimp?
I don't remove my shrimp. Normally I will siphon minimum half a tank. I will take out my UGF box, put it one side, take the cycled UGF box and I will put it in. That new RO water goes down, then I'll pump back the TDS. So I treat it as a major water change. Always remember one thing, if you get unexplained death for no reason and your setup is correct, do a major water change first, 80 to 90%.
So if your shrimp start dying, water change is the key, yeah?
It might be ammonia spike, it might be pH drastically go up or down. If your setup is not correct, it might be nitrate. So, or worst thing, it might be chemical. The best thing, do a major water change first and monitor from there. If next day the death still occur, I will suggest another one. Third day still occur, don't need to think so much, reset your tank.
So if it's water change doesn't help, reset the tank.
Yes. Because the thing is that even if you find out what is the issue, your shrimp has already...
That's what was my issue. By the time I find out the issue, my shrimp all die.
Yes.
So it's better to reset the tank.
Don't wait.
I always tell myself, next time I have an issue, I reset the tank straight away.
Don't wait.
Don't wait.
Do a major water change. If it doesn't help you, next day, again, do again. If not, just reset.
Good. Simple as that, yeah.
Simple as that. Keep the setup simple. So easier for you to monitor what's issue with your tank.
That's why in your tank you have only one moss.
Yes.
And this is a
flame moss. Flame moss, yes. The thing is, UGF box, we try not to put sponge inside. Sponge will clog up very fast. And when it does, there's nothing much you can do other than take out the whole UGF box and reset. So sometimes, like today, because this week I'm already quite busy and this tank is already due for reset, and you can see the tank is a bit cloudy. It's due for reset. So easiest way, get a normal sponge, just poke it in. You can see 1 day. It's like that. Then you just carry on doing it for the next 2-3 days. Your tank is going to clear up. But of course, like I said, this is just buying you time. Because I don't think a lot of guys would like to see this.
I don't like it. In some of my tanks I have this.
But it's due for reset. When we do set up a tank, we actually put the date.
So this tank set up?
On 21st, 2021 August 26. So it's 1.5 years. Close to 2 years.
2 years old,
2 years.
Wow, that's a lot.
Okay.
So you still
to me,
breed the shrimp here?
so long they are breeding fine, I don't reset. But I always put a date just in case I see, oh, they are not breeding, then I see the date. Oh, okay. Eh?
Yeah.
Bro, 3 years.
20. 3 years. 3 years old tank.
They are still breeding fine.
Yeah.
Let it be.
It's only one UGF box. You didn't do anything. And it's 3 years old already. Yes. Oh my God. That's insane.
Why I say 1 year, 1.5 years? Because that's on the norm. Yeah. But there are certain cases that, okay, I see the tank is okay. And you can see baby streamlet, they are breeding. Yeah. Let it be.
So when you're talking about reset, you're talking about just changing UGF box. You don't clean the glass, you're nothing.
No, so long the glass is green, I'll leave it.
Green is good. Yeah.
If it's brown, I will actually scrape it off.
I can see you have like not very strong flow most of the tanks. Is it normal for that?
If your setup is right, even if your UGF is not moving, there's no issue.
All right.
You look at the one on the right.
Yeah, it's almost nothing coming from there.
Yeah, but there's no issue. They're still breeding.
But no issues. Shrimp still breeding, yeah.
Since they are breeding, okay, let it be first. Because if they are not breeding and a lot, some depth are coming, I will definitely go down and make my reset. Yeah.
I saw that your water is coming down. You lifted up the tube quite high. I normally do it in the same level as the water, so the water coming to the front of the tank. But why are you doing this way?
Normally, this flow will help create more oxygen or air going into the water, because the thing is about not only on shrimp, even for fishes, we look at DO, dissolved oxygen. So these are the oxygen that's dissolved inside the water. This flow will stop insects from breeding. It's mosquito. That's flow. So the thing is, when you say you push it down, you are pushing it to one side. Actually, then you're just pushing it here and it's here, but behind it's going to be a dead water zone. So to me, because of the setup style, pH on the side will be slightly lower. But the shrimp loves it. See, because I tested my UGF pH before, you can be surprised at the side it can go down to 4.3, but the shrimps are still there and love it. So to me, when we say 5.5 is the water coming out from here, it's 5.5. But below, I can tell you some of the portion is at 4. So long your setup is stable, actually even with ammonia source coming out from your not fully cycled soil, you'll be fine. Our own brand of soils, we only take around 5 to 7 days to cycle.
So your cycle is only for 7 days?
5 to 7 days. Then we
and it's leaching ammonia?
It's still leaching, but not a lot.
Not a lot? It's okay?
It's okay.
At low pH, ammonia is not toxic,
and there's no way for ammonia to build inside this setup. Because UGF, the water is constantly flowing through. So when there's constant flow going through your soil, there's no way for ammonia to build inside.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, for breeding wise, stability of tank, control environment for all the shrimps, how well you can handle your pH, your GH. Our water is a must, so I'm not going to talk about that. Of course, nails, you can, some of the countries, you can keep nails in tap water, but in Singapore, I can guarantee you tap water 7 months. That is the max you can keep them, 7 to 8 months. After that, you wake up one day, everything dies. Because the things inside our tap will build up in that 7 to 8 months. That's the issue.
So would you recommend to do a massive water change, like 90% of water change, maybe every 6 months or so, just to kind of refresh the water in your tank?
If you got the time and if you dare to do it.
Yeah. So it's a good thing to do.
It's good to reset your parameters. Why? Because the thing is, water evaporates, TDS remains. So you measure your TDS now. If your tank
but you have top off.
But the thing is, the top off and the TDS may slightly go up a bit.
All the time,
Like you say now, you measure your TDS is 150. So by right, if you are using our products, 150, your GH should be at 5. But you measure, GH 2.
I see.
You get me? Because the TDS keep increasing, but TDS is only a number. So TDS, total dissolved solid, only means something to you when you know what's inside. If let's say I'm using full hour water and I measure, less than 7, 10. After the water is full, I pump it up to 80, 90, I know the GH is actually. Using our setup, no worries about doing 80 to 90% water change with the shrimp inside.
When you do water change, you top off the tank with RO water and then you add some minerals in, like salts,
Straight
GH,
away I add.
So,
Straight, I add it to the tank, I do not add it outside.
So you don't mix the salts prior your water change, you just put the RO water?
Quite simple. Let's say I measure, it's at 90. I do 10%, later will be at 80. So I know my one pump is 10, I do 10%, I show it pump and I leave. I don't care.
Because many people thinking this is going to stress your stream because of fluctuation of TDS.
You want me to show you?
So this is your
You can get this from Daiso, $2. This pail, my mom gave it to me. We don't choose the cheap shrimp.
Now you're cleaning the shrimp poop from the bottom,
from yesterday. Yeah. And I did not feed them yesterday. These are from today.
Yeah, that's a lot. Yeah.
And now that explains why I like to keep my tank empty. The amount of poo they produce, and a lot of guys, when you put a lot of substrate on the bottom, actually you're just lying to yourself. Just lying to yourself.
It's much easier to do it, without soil, right?
Yeah, but of course, when there are shrimp inside, you just got to do it slightly slower.
Of course. You still can find them in the bucket. Yeah? Oh, yeah. I can see the bucket.
One just came down.
So there's a full bucket. Is there like 50% change? Yeah.
Sure. It's okay. I can do 80-90%.
No. It's okay.
No issue.
Okay.
Once we are done, normally I will check for shrimp. So you can see there's 4 tiny ones.
Yeah.
Okay, we are done. So it's around half a tank. So my TDS before that, as what I measured yesterday, was 85. So my one pump strength is 10. So I'll just 1, 2, 3, 4. That's it.
Guys, let me just pause for a bit. Did you see what he just did? He put the GH minerals directly into his tank with the shrimp, and then he top off this tank with RO water. But what I normally do, I mix GH salts with RO water inside this big container before I do the water change, just to make sure this new water has the same water parameters, same TDS as the water inside the tank. And honestly, I thought it's gonna stress your shrimp if you do it the same way like Darick does, because once you pump your GH salts inside your half-empty tank, you double your TDS. And I thought it's gonna stress your shrimp, but his shrimps are fine. That's insane. I should try it as well. Let's get back to the video.
Normally after water change, I'll actually sprinkle some. So you can see later, not a lot.
Not a lot.
Not a lot. Our water is coming.
Our water starts coming out into the tank and fill the tank.
So after that, when it's done, push it up and make sure the water stops.
Just to check it works, yeah?
It works.
Yeah.
And then you can go over and do your things. That's all.
All right. So the water change done.
Yep. Water change is done. Aesthetic, our setup may not be as nice, but it works.
I know. I start to make my tank more beautiful, bring some plants in, but I start losing shrimp. Because the more complicated you do the tank, the shrimp's not going to like
it. That's by and parcel of hobby.
Yeah.
That's by and parcel of setting up a planted tank.
Yeah.
And it doesn't mean a planted tank can't work for shrimp. But it always depends on how much effort are you putting in to take care of that aquarium. But if you are having one, I think you can. But if you're having multiple or hundreds of it, I don't think I'm able to do it for me.
I don't see you have any copy pots or seed shrimps. Do you? What do you think about
have,
that?
but
you don't have.
Not a lot. I do have cyclops or copy pots. They are hiding inside the UGF box.
But I saw some seed shrimps in that
seed
tank.
shrimp, yes. I don't really like to see them. So wherever I see them, I'll just use a small siphon. I'll just separate them out.
You don't really like them.
They are just fighting for food with the shrimp.
Yeah.
One good thing about empty tank, whatever I don't like, I can just siphon it out. And there's no way for them to hide from me, because so long I'm free, I'll do it.
You know, I have one problem in my tanks. I have a freshwater limpets, and once I see them, they start to scrape all this algae from the glass, and now my tanks are clean.
When you have limpets, your algae wall will not grow. Normally, you only grow 1/4. That's the max. Their main source of food are all the algae. So the thing is, when you have limpets inside, you will not get algae. And the thing is, they multiply way too fast.
Yes.
And once they start multiplying, your whole tank will be infested. And another thing is, if you are sharing one net, all your tanks will be infested.
Yes, that's what happened to me. Yeah.
I don't really like the idea of floating plants. Basically, you are giving insects or mosquito place to stand to lay their egg.
I see what you mean.
If you have a lot of shrimp, when they lay their egg, the shrimp will actually munch it out. But if you don't have a lot of shrimp, your tank will become a breeding place for all the larvae. I always feel shrimp tank, simple plant that grows is more than enough. I know you like Busep Lantra recently, but the thing about Busep, why we seldom use Busep, because they are too slow growing.
Yep.
And they cannot catch up with the population of shrimp. The healthy shrimp tank is very easy to see. When you look over, and you see the plants are flourishing, your tank will be flourishing, because the strains are providing enough ammonia and nitrite for them. Ammonia, bacteria, it become nitrite, plants taking nitrite, excessive nitrite become nitrate. So if your nitrate is 0, it's a good thing. It means your ecosystem is balanced. If you see, if measure ammonia is 0, nitrite is 0, nitrate that means you got to do slightly more water change to remove the nitrate. A lot of guys say plants actually take in the nitrate. For me, I think the best way is still water change.
Water change, yes.
Depending on plants means you will have to test your water every now and then.
Yeah.
1 tank, okay. 100 tanks?
Yes.
Oh my god, how to test the 100 tanks? You get what I mean? So,
Yeah.
keep
And
it
the
simple.
shrimps gonna hide in the plants and
Yes,
also,
and the more hiding space you give them, the more they hide.
Yeah.
Our shrimps, they don't really hide, but they are still breeding. A
Yeah.
lot of guys say you give them hiding cave, this and that. No need lah. They will just breed. They will just breed wherever they feel like it. I don't know. When it's time, they will just breed. And don't force your shrimp to breed. Just like dogs. Don't force them to breed. Because once they breed, they'll have a shorter lifespan. If everything is right, breeding will come naturally. So don't really have to force them to breed or buy things or feed them a lot of protein. The thing is, when you eat too much protein, it's either you become too fat like us, like too fat like us, or if not, you may die from that. My shrimps from born till death, if they are still with me, they'll be eating only one food, nothing else. No boiled spinach. No.
You only use your own food, which is basically.
Yeah, my food is all in one. So when we make our own food, we wanted the recipe of all in one. So
I try your food in my shrimps, they like it very much. And I also give them like once a week because I like to give them different foods. Yeah. I know you think differently.
Nothing wrong with that. But because the thing is, majority of the breeders, we want to keep things simple. That's why you see my powder is all in one, my TDS is all in one. Because the thing is that when I first started keeping like 20 plus years ago, at that point in time, you want, also don't have, because shrimp keeping is so new.
Yeah.
So we can only use all the fish stuff, but it doesn't really work. So slowly as time goes by, you start seeing, there's some brand that slowly come out. But one mineral, there's like 7, 8 bottles. Wow, meaning every water change, I need to add 8 bottles into my tank. And majority, sometimes I add this thing too much, that thing too little. The tank start to go haywire. You don't get to see the green that you want. You get to see bacterial boom suddenly out of no reason. The thing is because we are adding too much things inside, and sometimes our hand...
Something can get wrong, right?
Yes, yeah, because there's too much things that you're adding inside. So powder I found from my friend in Taiwan. I think you know him also, Tai Cheng. So his is the powder is all in one.
Yep.
So
this is the powder.
I would say this one microorganism, which that is why you are seeing the coffee pots and the chatworms.
This powder makes
microorganism. So there's inside there's nutrients for shrimp. That is why when you do water change and you put some powder, do not need to feed the shrimp that day. Because they'll go and find the vitamins and munch it up. Okay, another thing is nutrients for the plants and the green wall. So that's why you see when you are using that, you actually see the green wall is actually up and constant. When you are using other products and the tank is brand new, you will get the green wall for 3 months. After that, the green wall will become brown. No matter what, you never do anything, you never change anything, but it will still become brown because it has lost the nutrients. New tank, because of the soil, there's a lot of new nutrients inside. But when 3 months later, your tank starts to get into the mature mode, that is when all the nutrients are lost. If your green wall, whole tank is brown, I would suggest do reset. Brown things are never alive, and brown things will produce nitrate.
You don't have a tank, for example, to show the brown. You mean like this brown at the back?
A little bit is fine.
A little bit
but if your whole tank is brown, no.
Yeah. No. It should be green, yeah?
Yes. That's why we want the green walls, because green walls, algae, they are plants also. So they will help with the nitrate.
Yeah.
They will also help with the nitrate.
Also like the plants, they suck the nitrate.
Yes. Too much plants, I'm not saying it's not good, but the thing is, anything too much is never good. I can say that we can do water change, major. But if I do it every day, I won't say there's no death. Definitely there will be one that cannot take it. But why I like to do major water change? Because this will help me eliminate the weaker shrimp. All shrimps or all humans will look alike, but you never know what is wrong with our body. You get me? So all shrimps are all inbreeded.
If the shrimp die after water change, that means it was weak, right?
To me, I'll just say, it's time to go.
Yeah.
Because the rest can take it, but you can't. So I would say, if I sell this shrimp to someone or someone choose this shrimp, my reputation will be spoiled because hey, I buy the shrimp, how come the shrimp die so easily?
Yeah. You don't want the shrimp die in someone else's tank. It's better to die in your tank, right?
If I think that the tank is not doing well, no reason I get 1 or 2 deaths. Once a while I see, today die, tomorrow die, third day die, I'll start doing my major water change. Cannot. The UGF boxes are always ready, I just reset.
And here you have your products here, yeah? So this is a shrimp net. And actually, I've got this shrimp net from you probably about 3 years ago.
Yeah, during COVID.
Yeah, it's a long time ago, and I still have it. I'm very happy about that because the good thing about this net is keep
3D. The 3D.
It's 3D. Yeah, you call it. Yeah. So it's to keep the form, and it's very safe for shrimp. I'm definitely going to buy some more of these nets. Yes, and this is the
hatchery. Shrimp hatchery.
Yeah.
Just in case you get a buried shrimp.
Yeah.
And the buried shrimp die from molting or old age, and you want to try to save the eggs. You can do your surgery, remove the eggs out one by one, and you put them in.
Yeah, I know. I did before.
So this one, the way we get our manufacturer, this is how the eggs are going to go in.
So you just open it, put the egg, put it
in. Normally, if the eggs should hatch, it should hatch within 5 to 7 days. The good thing about this, once you see one shrimplet hatch, move it up, open the cap, let the shrimplet swim out. Because if you leave the shrimplet inside, it's going to munch up all the other eggs.
Yeah, I see.
So that's what I like about this hatchery. What keeps me going on inside for shrimp keeping is trying to create our own new species now. Creating new species now to me is more of a challenge, and trying to create a species that belongs to us. Everyone must, that's a new species. You get what I mean? So it's not an easy thing, but it's a long way, but that's what keeps me going. But of course, if you see in our shop, I do have something to keep me busy sometimes. When you're sick of shrimp, look at fishes. Sick of fishes? Look at crabs.
You mentioned before that previously you tried lots of filtration method, and you choose this UGF method, and we call it Asian method because it came from Asia. Basically Singapore is Asia. And when I saw the video first time from Rio Watanabe, when you show these UGF boxes, I was thinking like, wow, this is a good idea. You can basically swap the old box to the new box, and you don't need to reset the tank. So that's when I start to set up the tank your way. You keep doing this and you have a very great success. And tell us what's the good about this method and why you choose this method compared to another methods.
When I first started, we started using canister. Very standard setup is using thick substrate. So thick substrate, in long run to come, I would say when your tank matures, ammonia will start to build. And when you pour water too fast, or when you disturb the substrate, ammonia will shoot and your shrimp will start dying. So that method, boom, gone. Another one is very thin substrate, a 1-2 layer grain of soil on the bottom of the floor and a sponge filter. But for me, that setup works. But if it's me, I will have to reset it every 3 to 4 months. Why? Because the amount of substrate is too low and the pH buffering is not enough. In order to have better breeding ratio, you will have to reset it every 3 to 4 months. So you see a lot of breeders, whenever they clear their tank or they sold it off, they will reset. Too many tanks. So it's too tedious for me. Another method which I previously, before I go into UGF box, we were using the half glass. Yeah. The half glass inside there. That's what I use now. Yes. The half glass method inside. It's cool, nice looking. But the thing is, I found out there's a lot of dead water zone inside there. Why? Because why we make our UGF box and it's only one plate. It's because of the dead water zone. When there's dead water zone, ammonia will build and the pests will be there. Why? Because the floor, one plate is only like that. So no matter how many plates you put, the flow is still like that. You're just leaving it up and you're just looking at, oh, nice, I did it. But the thing is that the flow is like that. The rest of the areas are all dead water zone. The soil there, if you disturb, there's ammonia inside in 6 months or 3 months time. That method, I use it for quite some time also. But until the day that I saw someone from my own group also using this, so I decided to try this. So we tried all this, and this is the improved version that you are seeing now that we are selling it. The first version was very high, 15 cm tall. It works, it's the same, but I found that we are wasting a lot of soil. So I decided to reduce it to 10 cm. That's the second version, the 10 cm. 10
centimeters by 15 by 15. This is the size of your UGF. Yeah. So this works perfect for...
It's more than enough to support a 60-liter tank.
60-liter tank.
One UGF. Yes.
One UGF and 60-liter tank.
Yes.
Wow. What happens if you put 2 UGF? Is it going to be any longer life, or is it going to be better buffering or something?
You may be able to keep more livestock inside because there's double filtration now. Right. Just like this tank, you see the amount of filtration I have.
So if you want to keep a lot of shrimps, it's better to put extra UGF.
Yeah, right? But in a 2-feet tank, acceptable. But in a 1.5 feet tank, I think 1 is more than enough.
More than enough.
And why we don't make bigger UGF box? It's just like the half glass. Bigger box will only means dead water zone.
Before I was thinking like, okay, I use your method, but I make 2 UGF box in 60 centimeter tank, and then if I want to reset a tank, I reset one box at a time, because it's not gonna make my tank crash. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you can do it one by one. Even if it's only 1 UGF box, you can just, after the box is cycled, you can just replace it and take out the old one. For
Caridina, of course, you're using as active substrate, which is buffering pH, and your ideal pH for Caridina is 5.5 or below.
Below 6, just
below 6. Yeah.
Anywhere below 6 is fine. So for neos, it's even easier because neos can adapt to lower pH, higher pH. So long they adapt to your tank environment, they are fine.
For Neocaridina and Sulawesi, you're using the
lava
rocks
lava rock
the
for
UGF,
Sulawesi,
which buffering the KH, right?
pH and KH.
pH and KH, So,
yes. All these substrate in years to come, or 1 year, 1.5 years later, they will slowly lose their pH buffering power, that's for sure. For Sulawesi, I always recommend my customer to actually change the rocks so that the pH will be maintained. Because Sulawesi shrimp, they need a bare minimum of 7.6. If it goes anywhere lower, they will start dying. But for neos, no. So for that, I would say cycle it back, change, and put it back in. Then it will be better. So you can't keep the rocks. For neos, if the rocks gets dirty, or the bottom of UGF gets dirty, take it out, go to the tap, wash it clean. Wash it clean. Once you're done, take your current tank water, do a good soak of 15 to 20 minutes, and you can put them back in.
Oh really? Yes. So you can just wash it in tap water, but that doesn't kill bacteria because of chlorine or something?
I wanted to clean everything inside.
Alright. Even beneficial bacteria?
Beneficial bacteria is everywhere in your tank.
Okay.
Not only, of
inside
course, the substrate is going to, phosphorus substrate is going to hold more. But the thing is, they are going to grow back in no time. Because we are not doing major changes to the tank other than taking it out, washing it, cleaning it.
But can you do it for Caridina, washing the UGF?
You can't wash the soil. No matter how long you wash the soil, it's going to be black. So normally after we take out the old one, we will just throw it away. Of course, it has pros and cons. The pros is what we have already mentioned. The cons, when time comes, your tank is going to get crowded. That's for sure. Every tank, like I always say, is 1 year to 1.5 years. By the time it comes to this state, normally it's 1 year to 1.5 years. So it's only good to reset your tank, get them some new substrate, and get your tank breeding again. Because you will find that at this rate, normally they don't really breed. And you see closely, you have males, you have females, but why they don't breed? But once you change your substrate, they will start breeding like, they don't breed like rabbits because rabbits don't breed as much as them. They breed like shrimp. They don't breed like rabbits, they breed like shrimp. Because shrimp breeds way faster than rabbits. Sometimes I say, hey, how come I thought you just gave birth? How come you're buried again? In my breeding area, sometimes I have a smaller tank. This smaller tank only house 5 shrimp. Why? Because normally it's what I do, selective breeding. So I don't give them a box for selective breeding, I give them a tank. How you want to know the ancestor of the shrimps, how they are made? You just take your current shrimp, you go and cross with another species, they will revert back to what comes out. You will see, BKK came out, Black Pinto came out, Blue Boat came out. So these are all the ancestors and all the shrimps, the genetics that makes up what you have today.
Shrimp,
So like I said just now, you were telling me that some of your shrimps, there's a lot of blue boat. There's a lot. But because the thing is that blue boat is the first few phase when we started crossing. The very fun things about shrimp keeping is, first thing first, you never know what you're going to get. A lot of guys say fishes, inbreeding, not good. Yeah, I agree with that. But shrimp, different. The more inbreeding you do, the more fancy they come. The only thing, the hardest part is to stable down the line. And it takes time and it takes years.
Would you like to explain why you keep only flame moss in your tanks?
To me, any plants that grows well in shrimp tank, we can just put them in. In the past, we used Java mosses. But Java mosses tend to stick to everywhere in the tank.
Oh, right.
And even to UGF boxes. 7, 8 years ago or 9 years ago, someone gave me a very small chunk of flame moss. And from this small chunk, I grew to what you see here and all of my breeding. Why I don't like to buy plants? Plants comes with a lot of free gifts.
Yes.
Limpets, planaria, hydra. Limpet, I will try to clear it. Clear the tank, then I'll buy some pea puffer and just put them in and see whether they can clear it. If not, planaria and hydra, I will just reset. So when you talk about reset, that's the easiest way already. Take it out, bleach the tank, that's it. But the soil, I'll just throw it all.
Throw away, yeah.
There's no way to bleach the soil, and after that, the soil is usable, so there's no way. Yeah.
So you think flame moss is very beneficial for shrimp? I mean, any moss kind
any
of
mosses are fine so long they don't die. Any plants is fine so long they don't die inside your tank. To me, flame moss to me is because they don't stick to anything, and when I want to net shrimp from the BUGF box, I just leave it out. I can net.
Yeah, it's easier. You think that it's not necessary to wash your hands if you're...
Not say don't wash your hands. In COVID period, all of our hands, majority of our hands have sanitizer.
Yeah.
So if you
Sanitizer
don't wash...
is bad for shrimp, right?
Definitely.
Yeah.
So if you don't wash and clean your hands, definitely once you...
So you can have some chemicals,
It's very easy to see whether the shrimp died from chemical, because once the chemical lands in the water, your shrimp will be swimming frantically, trying to get out of the tank. So that's when you know it's chemical, so don't have to think so much. Straight away do water change. You might or might not save, but if you don't do, definitely they will die. But if it's like diseases or what, you'll see your shrimp slowly dying shock. To prevent cross-tank contamination, I always recommend to use a net for a row or a net for 2 tanks. At least infected only 2 tanks.
Yeah.
If not, just invest. I think you should have this UV sterilizer since you have. We can't be using a net for every tank. So normally after my customer net, end of the day I'll just clean and I'll just put it in
the UV sterilizer.
I'll just.
So the good way is just to, from time to time, sterilize your whatever tools you're using in your tanks, right?
Better tool. If you are sharing it, it's better to sterilize it. Because sterilize is just UV, there's no chemical, nothing. It's just heat to dry the water up. But remember, a mature tank, you shouldn't be adding anything new inside. Why I always say I keep my tank simple, because once I do that, I will not add any other things inside. I mean, if you really go into shrimp breeding and all, I always still feel it's good to keep it simple. But if you are going to aquascaping, there's a lot of tests to be done. Why I don't use a lot of rocks? Some affect pH, some affect GH. And once these two is affected, there are limited number of things you can keep inside other than fishes. Because shrimp, high GH, no. If the pH is way too high, also a bit high. Also really a bit high. But the thing is, normally it's the GH that
kill the shrimp.
Yes.
Yeah. So because the high GH will kill the shrimp, you think, yeah?
If it's way too high, you will.
Yeah. And what happens if it's pH like get too high for Caridina shrimp, for example, above 6? What's happening?
Another reason why I reset when it's at 1 year, 1.5 years is because
of pH. Yeah.
When pH go higher than 6.5, you will get unexplained death for no reason.
All right. Okay.
So that's why I set the date 1 year, 1.5 year. But if I see them not having death and they are breeding, I'll leave it. I'll definitely leave it. I see, okay, one death, and it's quite big today. Tomorrow another death, and I see the date, 1.5 years. Okay, tomorrow I reset. Don't give yourself too much question sometimes.
Yeah. Just, if you see the dead shrimp, reset the tank.
Yeah, to me, that's why I keep it simple. If you are having like half glass setup or full aquatic soil setup, it's going to take you 1 full day to do a reset. It's going to make a mess on your floor.
Yeah.
I still like this method, which works for me. It works for me because it's easier for me to do what I want to do. For you yourself, of course, everyone got to find their own method. There's a lot of guys who are using sponge filter and they're happy with it. Every method works so long it works for you. There are guys who wanted to use my UGF with canister, which I told them not to. You can connect it to a canister, but your soil will be gone in 2 to 3 months' time.
Because it's flow too much, yeah?
All the soil become powder and you all go into your canister.
Many of my viewers just asking the question, can we plug a power head to UGF and use it at the same time, same way, you know?
But once you do that, it's the same as connecting it to a canister because the power is way too strong.
Way too strong.
So once the water keep pushing...
That's why your flow is not very strong.
So long it's smooth, it's moving, I'm okay. Because the thing is that, always remember, stagnant water, pH low. What Caridina need? Low pH. So a lot of hobbyists, they always talk about, so long they can live in my tank, I'll be happy. They are not wanting them to breed or thrive in their tank. So their purpose is to survive. So that's the issue of a lot of planted tank guys. We buy the cheaper ones, die, not pain, but I throw them in and see who can survive. Then there will be some, definitely there will be some shrimps. I got my CRS surviving in some customers' tank at 29 degrees. Okay, but they lose their coloration. Yeah, they may not breed and they may die anytime.
Yeah. So the temperature-wise,
25 and below to me.
25
Anywhere
below,
below 20. Not too cold, not below 21.
Not below
I would
21.
say 23 to 25. But always remember this thing is consistency in the temperature.
Yes.
So long they don't fluctuate more than 1.5 degrees, I feel it's okay. How to have healthy shrimp, so long they are not always adapting to different parameters, they will be fine. Now look at this, it's done. The tank that we did just now. So this is the tank which we did the 50% water change just now.
Okay.
And after that we straight away pump the TDS in. So look at them, they are doing good.
The ship's doing good, yeah.
Yeah, no jumping around, nothing. Alright.
87, yeah?
87, 88.
87, yeah, 88.
So
So this is perfect TDS for your tanks, yeah? So
80 to 90.
80 to
So
90.
straight away I pump into the tank.
Yeah.
You got to gauge your strength first because if you are using the salt, you got to mix it up to what you. Ours are already pre-mixed. Liquid for me is easier for me, so I don't have to do a lot more work. So after water change, pump it up, and you're good to go. You can go off. Double check your auto top up is working and reservoir is full.
Yeah.
You can go off. Yeah, that's all you need.
Alright. Today I'm in Singapore, a small but very developed country in South Asia, and I traveled over 6,000 miles in order to get here. Hey, you ruined my video. Today I'm in Singapore, a very small but very developed country in South Asia. I traveled over 6,000 miles in order to get here with only one mission, is to visit